doing the wheel. There it is. Unique New York. We are joined here in Bono's Health, where the goal is to get you 1% better with every episode. And we are joined by Scott Gardner. I'm going to introduce him in a second. Just tell us where you are, Scott. I always like to establish where you are in the world.
Ocean City, Maryland, around the coast.
Awesome. All the crabs you can eat, folks. All the crabs you can eat.
Yes.
I do want to, before we jump into it, give a shout out to my sponsor, drinkelement.com/fitcare. You go to this link, any order, you get a free sample pack. It's a money back guarantee, the best electrolytes on the market. Not sure if you've ever tried them, Scott. We can send them out to you. All the flavors. I really like mango chili. It's got a kick, but it feels phenomenal. And again, you're getting sodium, potassium, magnesium, all that good stuff. That's my quick spiel. Guys, go get that. And we're going to focus on our esteemed guest, Scott Gardner, the founder and president of the UPTA. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what all that means, or I can let you talk a little bit about that. But the United Physical Therapy Association. So tell us, I'll introduce it. I'll say, because there's a lot there. I am a doctor of physical therapy. I graduated 2008. During my 3 years of getting my doctorate, I was all gung-ho about being involved with the politics, understanding the importance of advocacy. So I went to every lobby day in New York, up in Albany. I went to every single physical therapy conference. There was 3 main ones back then. I think there's probably more now. CSM. There was a student conclave back then. I think it's still a thing. And then there was the House of Delegates, which they connected with. Was it called the annual meeting? I don't even remember now. But there was that one. What was that called? Do you remember?
Off the top of my head, I don't remember what they call it.
I don't think it was connected to CSM. It was a third one.
No, it's July or something like that.
Yeah. Anyway, but the point being, 2005 to 2008, I was very involved. I got out into the real world, got a real job, went into business for myself, and it was like, this association does not seem to do much for me. The American Physical Therapy Association, which is the #1 organization. You guys are coming in saying, hey, we don't like what these guys are doing. For anyone not familiar, I just wanted to give that framework. And so teeing all that up, tell us a little bit about why the UPTA and what you guys are trying to fix.
We're clinician based. That's the gist of it. I mean, I'm a private practice owner myself. I'm almost 30 years in practice. Everybody you talk to that's practicing is going through the same issues. Professions heading down a path of who knows where. And I think it's a matter of clinicians, for the most part, haven't really had the time or put the time in to be a part of the association. The association itself, the APTA, is very heavy in academia because they have the time to do it. I can appreciate that, but I don't really know if they fully understand sometimes the struggles that we have on a daily basis, especially in certain areas like you mentioned, New York, where reimbursement rates are horrible, it's just abysmal, and it requires therapists working in an outpatient setting to see 2 to 3 people an hour. Just to make the salary that they want. People are burning out. And as I got involved in the APTA in 23, I was interested in trying to, be an asset to try to help create some change. And I just realized it wasn't going to happen with me there. And I ran for board of directors, and they didn't slate me because I wasn't good enough. Basically, my resume wasn't long enough, even though, as you can tell by my hair, I'm older. I'm doing this a long time. I've got 4 clinics, and I'm embedded in my community for 20 plus years. Everybody in the community knows my name. They say, go see Scott. And I've grown my practice. We got 9 providers in our practice. So I've done what a physical therapist typically does, embed yourself in a community and serve the community. So when they told me that, I wasn't qualified, I'm like, what do you mean I'm not qualified? So nobody kind of tells me what I can't do. I don't really like that. So I said, you know what? I'll do it myself. 104 years ago, a handful of people got together and said, we need to do something for our blooming profession, and they started an association out of a steakhouse. Nowadays, I can do it on Zoom. So I got a bunch of people that I know. I'm within the physical franchise system. So people always question the motives and if it's based out of the physical franchise headquarters. No, headquarters had nothing to do with this.
For anyone who doesn't understand physical, when he's saying physical, it's FYZICAL.
Yeah, so FYZICAL. It's a franchise model. We have 600 clinics across the nation. HQ has nothing to do with this. I know a fair amount of people because I've networked a lot. They were interested in starting this as well. And then a handful of other people reached out to me when we started getting going on our Facebook page. And that's how we started. We're growing. We're around 200 members now, getting more active. People are engaged. And I get a lot of DMs that say, thank you for doing what you're doing. So I must be striking a nerve. And And the goal is advocacy based, whatever setting you are. So if, people think it's more of an outpatient based association, and it may seem like that from the outside, but guess what? If we get 10 people from home healthcare that are interested in driving advocacy and they join us, they can lead the charge. Every setting has its own issues, and we want to be able to tackle all those. The money we take in, we're really gearing it toward advocacy. We don't have a big, expensive HQ building to pay off. There's no staff. Right now, everything's volunteer. Now, if we grow and we get to 10,000 members, of course, we'll have an executive director, but we'll try to keep it lean and mean so all the money goes to help the profession. That's our goal. We're going to create a PAC, and we're going to try to create a PAC that's not connected to the association. So what's that mean? So, Bill, if you don't want to join, you say, I don't waste my money on an association, but you want to give to the PAC, you can. It's not connected to the association, whereas the APTA's PAC, you have to be a member to donate. So they want you to drop $400 to join, and then they're asking you for more money for the PAC. So we want to do things differently, try a different route. Sometimes after 104 years, you got to try something new, right? And that's what we're doing. So I get a lot of people wondering why I'm doing this. It's because I love my profession. I want to see it succeed. I'm tired of seeing people burn out. I have a daughter that's in PT school. I want her to have a profession that's as good to her as it has been to me. And that's the gist of it. I'm just a guy from the Eastern Shore of Maryland who just decided to try something new. I'm 52 years old, and I'm ready for the challenge.
All right. Well, you kind of jumped to one of my questions here. Would you encourage an undergrad, somebody interested in physical therapy school, choosing this as a profession? Would you encourage them to continue that? You said your daughter's in physical therapy school right now, so I assume yes. The answer to that is still yes.
Well, she was in engineering school originally, and then she decided after doing engineering for a while, that wasn't her. She was more into health, and she's an influencer on Instagram and TikTok. So she has a large following herself of people. And so she's really gotten into it. She liked health. So she decided to do PT and follow in her parents' footsteps. My wife's a PT as well. So yeah, I do think people should still get into it. I also think that you should choose the cheapest route to get there. There's no reason to go to a private school if there's a public school in your area. Why would you want to spend all that money? It's just the ROI is just not good. So that's one thing. Talk to some educators that are interested in joining with us. I think we can try to tackle the educational component. Maybe there's some hybrid models we can come up with to make the educational component cheaper and more accessible to everybody. We need more, as you know, we need physical therapists. We keep costs down and our patients love us. So we need more PTs in the profession. We don't need them coming and dropping out.
Yeah, and that's been one of my biggest frustrations, again, going into business for myself, saying, hey, like, we're pretty good at this, like, screening. We're pretty good at helping people when they do get an ankle sprain. Why are they going? I think we can cite all the studies, right? You get back pain, you're going to go through the traditional system, you're going to get an x-ray, an MRI, possible medications. You have to go on this bout of things, that totals up to whatever, $2,500 versus going directly to Scott, seeing him at physical. Physical. I feel like you guys should say it differently.
It's physical. It's just spelled different.
I know. It should, but like it's
people call it physical, physical.
Yeah. But the point being that again, early in school, again, I graduated 2008, and I was very, again, like, we are the solution, and back then it was Vision 2020, looking ahead to what we want to accomplish over the next 12 years, direct access, which did improve some things. All these concepts, but yeah, again, when I would go to lobby day and we're just arguing or fighting, trying to convince congressional folks for, the Medicare cuts are going to be this much, can we just make them a little bit less intense? Like, that's what it felt like, and I just didn't see that carry over. The other big part for me, where I really lost a lot of my faith in, you talk a lot about what they're doing with their money. That you said they had a $45 million building over there in Alexandria, Virginia.
It was $45 million. It's a beautiful building. Don't get me wrong. It's beautiful.
It's not really doing anything to push the profession forward necessarily. But yeah. So I saw that, and there was I forget what year this was. You might again remember. They did a huge thing in Times Square, and again, it's all the stuff kind of on the website of, like, somebody in parallel bars with the physical therapist there. And again, like, I love that concept, the message. But to put that in Times Square, like, it makes no sense. Like, what somebody's going to be like, oh, okay, physical therapist, great. Yeah, like, my dad saw a physical therapist when he had his injury and after his surgery. And like, everyone knows this. So I just felt that was a huge waste of time, energy, money. They kind of promoted it very proudly. And again, I know there's a lot that goes on there. I don't know the full, marketing.
That was $25,000 to put that sign up.
I would have thought it would have been a lot more than that.
No, they got a great deal on it, but I don't understand that. Those are tourists going through there.
Right. They're tourists. You get to like put the pictures up and say like, hey, look at us. We're in Times Square. Like we're doing something for you guys. But again, I just didn't see the connection there. So yeah. And then the other piece too, to bring it back to the UPTA, and you guys were founded last year, right? So we're only a year in.
3 months. We're 3 months in.
3 months in. So it's pretty good. 200 members in 3 months.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Hey, look, it took the APTA 10 years to get 1,000 members. Now, granted, there wasn't any physical therapists back in 1921. But that being said,
no internet.
No internet. Yeah, they had to knock on doors and mail things. And so, yeah, but it took them 10 years to get to 1,000. So 200 we're fine. We're happy with that. I self-funded the thing myself. So, I've been back for the money I invested in it. But like I said, we've got a cash flow now. We can start doing a little bit of advocacy work. We've got members that are engaged and interested in meeting with legislators, and that's just the key. We've got advocacy flyers that we printed up for them to take with them, try to explain what the issues are, try to explain that MedPAC has recommended a bump. And really our goal also is grass tops. We try to get to know the right people. And then if we can get our PAC up and running, maybe get some money from grassroots and apply that and do different things. Maybe it's time to just try something different is my suggestion. What that is, do I have all the answers, Bo? Absolutely not. I'm hoping that I can surround myself with wonderful people, super intelligent, great ideas, and we just tackle it. Because I know they're out there. I know they have solutions. I just don't think they're being addressed,
Yeah, I think that's voiced very commonly in Twitter sphere, X sphere, all the different discussions, even LinkedIn, all these things. But I guess one question that comes up for me in terms of advocacy, what are you guys doing kind of maybe to not step? I don't know if you're looking to directly step on the APTA stuff, but in terms of, again, they're dealing with the Medicare fee cuts. We're not going to touch that because again, you have whoever you're going towards, the advocacy lobbyist, congressman. They're getting two different things. They're getting something on their desk from the UPTA and the APTA, and whether they're completely in agreement might be a little further confusing. Is there any kind of way to avoid stepping on those toes? I assume there's not been a ton of direct conversation between you and APTA leadership.
They haven't reached out to us yet. So at some point, I'm sure we'll connect. We're still in the early stages, so we're really just kind of ramping up. We're doing it individually. They'll have the flyers, they can meet with their legislators and they can discuss the issues. It has to be patient-based, not about that I'm not making enough money. It has to be like, if we don't, change these cuts and take care of them, we're going to close our doors. So I don't know if that requires, the APTA and the UPTA working together per se. We're just speaking the honest truth. Do they want us to all go cash-based? I mean, what's it going to happen to the 80-year-old that can't afford the cash-based therapy? The cash base is fine. I don't have a problem with it. It's just that how are we going to take care of the people on Medicare right now? So if you don't start doing that, we're going to close our doors, and in rural areas, it's going to be even worse because that's where the need really is. So I don't think. I think we have the same message. It just might be delivered in different folders. You know what? And maybe some different people going into the offices is something nice instead of the same. It's like marketing. If the same person goes into markets all the time. Hi, how you doing? Yeah, we know. Yeah, we know. You want? Yeah, we know. So he sent somebody different in there. Like, who are you? Oh, nice to meet you. I'm the therapist that lives down the street here, and I have a clinic in the local area, and I really need your help. That kind of stuff, and get our patients engaged. That's the kind of stuff we want to work on. I mean, we're small. I don't have a revenue stream of $51 million coming in. It's much less than that. So we're trying to think of things differently, and obviously at some point we want to work together because we are one family. We are a profession of physical therapists, hence the name United Physical Therapy Association. We want to all work together. We're going to have our differences of opinions, especially when it comes to treating a patient, and that's fine as long as we get to the end point and make them better. But when it comes to doing this kind of work, we just need to work together because we're all rowing the same boat. We all want to fix that reimbursement issue. We want to get what a fair pay is for what we're doing. And there's lots of things that are happening, and we get bore people with the healthcare system, but things are going as they're supposed to, and we're getting consolidation, and that's what they wanted when they passed the Affordable Care Act. as most people know, in your city or state, there's probably 4 or 5 large hospital systems now, and the little tiny mom and pop hospitals are gone because there's certificate of needs in each state that prevent doctors from owning hospitals. So if they owned a hospital before the ACA, they can't expand it. So they get surrounded by a health system. So there's lots of things in legislature that physicians are trying to change, but we just got to work together. There's 300,000 physical therapists in the United States, I think, from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics from like 3 years ago. I don't know how many have left, but if we can just engage, there's only like 75,000 members of the APTA or PT. So that leaves 225,000 people that are just kind of floating around doing their own thing. If we can capture them, make us stronger, it's a win-win. And I don't care if more people join the APTA personally. If that gets to 125,000 because of what I'm doing, I'm happy with that too, because we just need more people. And if they come join me, I'm even happier because they've found a different pathway to make change. So that's all.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons I like this. I do this podcast thing, and I think, even if it only reaches a few hundred people, maybe a couple thousand people, fantastic. And again, if 10 people go ahead and join your organization or the APTA, whatever it is, that 10 people, that change can be significant. As we all know, you were talking on the Alex and Mo podcast about being a little spark. And
oh, I am.
Flint. Yeah. I guess one question when it comes to advocacy. So I practice in New York and California. I started my career in those 2 states. Now I'm in Colorado. When I came to Colorado, I was like, hey, we're able to do everything here. We can order MRIs. We have pretty much the same privileges as military folks, almost. Military PTs. So anyone not familiar, there's certain restrictions. Despite the education, it's state by state. So that's another piece I guess I want to ask you about. What I was getting to is New York and California, 2 of the only states where physical therapists cannot dry needle. And a lot of that, when people ask me, like, what's up with that? I just say advocacy, lobbying. The acupuncture lobbies have a lot more power, money in those 2 states. They found it a lot more important to make sure to block physical therapists from doing that. And then the physical therapies, when I was there, physical therapists in New York also were like, it might be number 77 on our priority list of like changing that. And if we do open up our practice act, we expose ourselves to the chiropractors coming in and saying, hey, you guys aren't allowed to manipulate spines or whatever. There's that fear. So there's this fear-based piece of it. But yeah, I don't think it's ever going to change as far as those 2 states' advocacies and ability to do dry needling there. Maybe, again, if you're just talking about, if you can sit down with a common sense congressman, somebody, a lawmaker, whoever's in charge of the Practice Act. This is why physical therapists got direct access when I was a student in 2008 there still, because the orthopedic surgeons put an ad that said, can your physical therapist tell if there's cancer here? And the New York State legislature is like, hey, this is getting a little ridiculous. And like, yeah, they have the education to kind of point out red flags. And we were going to trust this profession to say this person might have some stuff going on. I'm going to direct them over to a medical doctor and refer them out. That's where the profession is. So bottom line is, or the question here becomes, state by state, how, again, with a relatively small organization, are you just kind of saying, okay, well, we got, 20 people in Maryland, we got 50 people in California. Let's put our power and energy wherever we can there. Is it like you kind of alluded to, just going into the offices of the lawmakers there as just that one-on-one, that personal connection. So just starting to, you called it grass
tops. Try to get to know the right people.
That.
Yeah, get to know the right people and the grassroots for our members and our patients. But to answer that question, well, we have an advocacy page, just like they do at the APTA and many other sites do, like a voter voice. So we created that, but we found one that allows us to do state by state local things. So if somebody's in New York and there's a bill in front of the legislator there for changing the Practice Act to allow dry needling, we can put that on our page and they can get the QR code and give their patients to, support it and advocate that way. So we could, if I have one member in New York and they, hey, Scott, can you put this on the advocacy page and create a QR code for me? I'll do it. And then they can send letters directly to their local representatives and state senators to help advocate for that. So it's very small, but that's how we can make a difference at the state level. I don't think the APTA has that capability at every state level to do state advocacy, but that's what we have in ours. So we found a platform that allows us to do that. So we can do that for anybody. So if you're a member and you want something done in your state and you're in Arkansas, just give us a call. Just tell me the bill number. I personally, I do almost everything. I'll personally write it up there. I'll put the number of the bill up there. it'll automatically fill in the legislators that it will go to based on your district, and you just go ahead and take the QR code and go from there. So that's how, I mean, we're, like you said, we're really small. We're focusing more on the national level right now as we grow, and we hope to grow enough that that we can help steer that bus that is the APTA, and maybe in some different directions than the direction it's currently going. Because as many people don't want to be a part of that association, as we're all like, it's a waste of time. They pretty much determine what we do as a profession. I mean, we have the doctorate degree because they decided. I graduated in 96, and I got a master's degree because they got rid of the bachelor's degree in 95 at my school. And then within 6 years, there was a doctorate. So those people sat up there in Alexandria, Virginia, and decided that a doctorate would be the best path forward for us. However, we didn't have any of the goals that they thought we were going to have at that time. So none of the stuff came about except maybe direct access. But now we're saddling people with $250,000 in debt become a PT. So, they create, they have CAPTI, which determines the education. I know it's an independent entity, but it resides at APTA headquarters. So, I mean, they control a lot of the stuff that happens in our profession. So maybe a separate association is just a good idea to help, checks and balances. It's just like if a physical therapist moves in right next door to you, your game's good, but you're probably going to increase your marketing just a little bit. You're going to make sure you reach out to your other patients and say, hey, don't forget I'm still here. If they come in with something shiny and new, you're going to try to outdo them. It's competition, and competition makes all of us better. And we just can't rest on our laurels that, this is always how we did it. That's how we're going to do it this year. Nope, not anymore. So we'll change the narrative. And if we get to 5,000 members, do you think we'll have a voice? Of course we will. Of course we will. We'll have the money too. And if we have a PAC that gets donations from everybody, we'll have some money to make some campaign contributions for legislators that are, forwarding agendas for physical therapists to help our profession. So that's the goal. Look, I got like 10 more years until I graduate, until I retire. So I got plenty of time. My children are grown; they're in college. I'm enjoying this ride. I've got a lot of detractors, but I got a lot of people DMing me saying thanks. Like I said, I'm just a spark. I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I'm educating myself every day as much as I can. And I'm enjoying the ride. And it's nice meeting great people like yourself. Been on like 5 or 6 podcasts already. I'm enjoying that. And it's been fun. So,
we're the new media.
Yeah, it really is. It's kind of cool. It's really neat. And look, if this was 1985, there's no way I could have done this.
Right.
No way I could have gotten the word out. I mean, it's impossible. But in today's day and age, you can reach everybody across the planet.
Hey, they got 1,000 folks back in 1921. Don't sell yourself.
Yeah, it's true. They did. I don't know how they did it, but
they probably were all in one hub. No, I don't know. Let's take a look at your mission statement on your website. So, championing physical therapy, we advocate for fair compensation. So let's start there. Fair compensation. I'll throw out some numbers. You tell me if these are still accurate. Starting salary in a lot of states for new grads around 65,000, somewhere in that 60 to 70 grand. Is that about?
I think it depends on the area. Like our area, it's probably pushing 80. Depends on the area, but they're probably around 70, I would say.
Yeah, I think in New York, you mentioned lower insurance reimbursement there in New York, but I still think New York, especially the metropolitan areas where I was starting my career. I mean, the starting salaries even back then, 2008, was in the 70s, 80s as well. But yeah, so fair compensations. So that's one number. Other thing I've seen statistically is the median, I believe, U.S. physical therapist salary is $95,000. Does that sound about right to you?
About right. Look, when I got out of school in 1996, I made $37,500, and I thought I was rich. Now, if you put that into today's age with inflation, I think that comes out to like 72,000. So if you think about it, it really hasn't changed. The only thing that's changed is the cost to get the degree. So I was discussing with Alex and Mo and Nick last night. I said, they push these specialist certifications, and I had my OCS for 20 years, and I let it go like 2 years ago just because why am I paying $1,000 to stick 3 initials after my name? I already know I can do it and pass it. I don't need it anymore. It doesn't get me anything for it. So there's only a couple of specialist certifications that gives you a benefit. One's ECS, electromyography, that allows you to bill Medicare. And I think the other one is cardiovascular. I can't remember.
The SCS, the sports one, does allow you to be on field. So it kind of is not athletic training adjacent, but yes, I know that's one for sure.
So it's like we were talking last night, like if if we want to help promote the profession and we want to get these people certified as specialists in certain areas, maybe we should work with insurance companies and say, hey, like, you're not going to increase our reimbursement. If you're an OCS, then you should be able to charge an additional fee on your service that day of maybe $20 for, because, I've been practicing 30 years. Think about it. Somebody wants to come to my clinic and I got a new grad working with me as well. I make the same reimbursement as that person does, but everybody wants to see me because they know I've been around in my skill set, right? So there's something to be said about developing your skill set. And if there's no difference in pay, why would anybody want to develop their skill set? So if we can do something like maybe a slight add-on, like if you go get your hair done, you got the senior stylist, the junior stylist, the apprentice, they all charge different fees. And why are we restricted in healthcare? If the insurances don't want to pay us more, then we can charge it. Charge an extra $20 per visit and they see me. If not, they see people that aren't, haven't gotten a certificate of whatever it is, specialist certification. So, and that would, I think, empower people to want to advance their careers and become more knowledgeable. That's just my personal opinion, but we got to find ways to address this disparity in pay. It's absolutely ludicrous that we go to school for 7 years and you go to school to be a PA in 6 years and you're making 100 right off the bat. It's like, what am I missing here? What am I missing? So anyway,
go where the money is, or do it for your passion. Do it for your, I don't know. There's something there. There's some idealistic thing there.
I mean, we do it for our passion. It's the only reason we're doing it, right?
Yeah. Again, I always say, like, we have one of the worst. I think most physical therapists I know are very altruistic. Is the word that comes up. A lot of times, there's the cliche when you're applying to physical therapy school is like, oh, I hurt my ankle, and then during the rehab, Scott was so nice to me, and Scott really inspired me, and now I want to do the same, and I just love being in the clinical setting and this and that, and a lot of times, or that happened to my mother, and I saw how, again, the PTs worked with my mother and got her back to walking and all this good stuff. So again, there's that nice piece to it, but I think that unfortunately it's and initially I actually was looking into becoming a chiropractor when I was a senior in high school. I was like, I don't think I'm going to make it as a professional football player. So I'm either going to go down this medical side or I was sports broadcasting. Was my other
right. Someone to do, right?
Here we are, sort of, almost. Anyway, but the chiropractor, the team doctor, the guy that would see us when we would have ankle sprains for our football team, was a chiropractor in Midwood, Brooklyn. He's still working. Dr. Leslie Dreyfus, shout out to him. He actually came to one of my courses I taught for Rock Tape for a little while, and he came to one of the courses I was teaching, which was pretty funny. Full circle kind of thing. But anyway, coming all together again, I decided, this nice thing, I'm gonna go down this path. And chiropractors, just to kind of stereotype everybody here, we're gonna offend everybody in these last few minutes of our podcast, is chiropractors tend to be much better at marketing, right?
Oh, they are. 100%.
They're a lot better. Anyone not familiar, some recent research, this came out right before COVID. You might remember this study was like a public survey of, if you hurt your low back, who are you going to see?
Chiropractor, right?
Chiropractor was number 1, massage therapist number 2, acupuncturist number 3, orthopedic surgeon number 4, and then physical therapist all the way down at 5. Not sure that's changed much in the last 4 or 5 years. One of the things I have always also, when I was at the, I think it was called the annual conference, I want to say, it was like PT 2008 or something. I don't know. Anyway, but the annual physio checkup is something Marilyn Moffitt, who's one of the biggest voices, I'd say, in physical therapy. She was the president of the APTA for some while. She brought that up in the House of Delegates. I was there as an usher and like trying to be involved again and everything. But something like that,
that's a great idea.
Dentists have pushed. You have to come see us twice a year as a profession. They're like, and we just, not that it's wrong, but we just believe them. We just do it. Could we say, I don't know the last time I've actually gotten my teeth cleaned. They're doing okay. I've never had a cavity in my life. But still, I do need to book as soon as we get off this. I'm going to book just for everyone hold me accountable, guys. But so I am going to book my cleaning after that. But yeah, so the dentists did that. The chiropractors, again, they did this magical thing where they said, we're going to own low back pain. 80-something% of people experience low back pain. We are going to, as soon as someone thinks low back pain, we're going to be chiropractors. We're going to put those together. Physical therapists, we own nothing. The profession is super spread out. We own rehab, I guess, but even chiropractors use that term. Personal trainers are, encroaching on that space. And again, it becomes like, unless you're injured, or unless you're in this medical system and you go see the orthopedic surgeon has to be the one that says, yeah, go see Scott. So anyway, annual physio checkup. I'm just having a chapter published in a book on February 4th. So about a week from today, 6 days from now. and I'm talking about movement vital signs. Like, why is this not a thing? Where's the voice raising up? We should own, again, that's how I was brought up. Even what was that big book of it was like the DSM for physical therapy, where it had all
the rehab guide, professional's guide, something, a little white book about that.
Yeah, I gave up on that. But I guess we were trying to do like a DSM type thing. But anyway, the point being that I think in there, and the APTA's mission is still, we're supposed to be the experts and the specialists in neuromusculoskeletal experts, not just rehab, but we're supposed to help human performance, all these aspects, all these different things. And so I think because of avoiding stepping on toes, or again, just being altruistic and being these nice folks, however we want to psychoanalyze or sociologically look at the whole thing. We've done a terrible job of marketing. Most people only think of physical therapy as modalities, massage, insurance-based. I think slowly the Titanic is turning, and people are starting to change around the thing. So again, I really hope that something like the annual physio checkup, I'm a big advocate of that. It's something I try to push. Not a lot of people want to pay for, every year, like, what is this? And we need to bring more credence to it. There's no evidence-based thing. The FMS tried to do that, functional movement screen. And again, it's just been shown to be a poor predictor of injuries, but that doesn't mean it's useless. Personal trainers kind of took that one on. There's the medicalized version of that, SFMA. We're going down the alphabet soup rabbit hole. I apologize. But bringing it back to you, Scott. Thank you. I always need that. I have another podcast where demand better, and my co-host is a personal trainer. He'll tell me, Bo, hey, get back here. All right. So get back. So here we are wrapping up the UPTA, the United Physical Therapy Association.
Right.
And,
come join us.
Come join us.
Clinician-based. We're grassroots, grass tops. We're going to listen to what you say. And we're forming committees. We're going to listen to our committees. They're going to tell us what they want to do. We're going to listen to them. We're going to advocate. We're going to try to do the stuff you're talking about. The annual checkup as a physical therapist, that's crossed my mind a million times. You know how many things you can pick up on somebody and address before they become problematic? How about fall screens? I work with a lot of geriatrics. Fall screens should be just a part of a physical that they get every year. It costs us billions of dollars in healthcare costs every year. So things like that, we have to take ownership of something, and we don't really have ownership of anything. And we have to start to decide what we want to take ownership.
To wrap it up, I did get a question. Someone texted me asking, so break down your goals for the organization one last time. The goals, top 3 goals for the UPTA. Reimbursement
basically is the primary one.
So that's improving the ability for physical therapists to get paid, or insurance reimbursement, or both.
Both. They kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So I can go down a rabbit hole of other ways we can do that, but there's ways we have to figure out pathways to leverage size in today's marketplace. So if you want to stay insurance based, you can't. The odds of you staying viable as a one or two clinic practice is small. You have to merge with others under a tax ID and filter. So we want to be able to start to kind of lead that path to show people how to do that. That's one thing we want to start doing. We want to try to address the student debt crisis. So we've got educators that are interested in helping and trying to figure out ways we can address different models for students to get the education and not go into $250,000 in debt. And honestly, the third thing is really just advocating. And that just encompasses everything we've talked about here. How do we advocate for us to get annual physicals? How do we advocate to become fall screeners? There's a SAFE Act that was in Congress last year. It's going to get reintroduced this year. And that is legislation that'll dictate that a fall risk assessment, if I remember correct, a fall risk assessment is indicated every time a patient goes in for a physical. So then automatically they'll get a referral to physical therapy. That is what we need. And we need to educate our population where we need to tell them what we are. We should make a commercial that says, you have balance issues? That's a physical therapist. You have back pain? That's a physical therapist. Did you sprain your knee? That's a physical therapist. You have stroke? I mean, we do so many things, but people don't know what we do. And that's the problem. It's like we're too widespread. We're working in all settings, and we really need to kind of hone in and let the public know that you have this issue, that's a physical therapist. I mean, what don't we treat? I mean, think about it. We treat the whole spectrum.
If you do everything, then you do nothing. Or I don't know.
But we got to hone in and let the public know that what we do is not just what you said before: massage, ultrasound, hot pack, exercise, charge insurance. So we need to change that narrative. So that's what we're here for. But we're clinician based, so we're going to listen to you. We're not going to run it through a big old House of Delegates where they all have to vote, argue about the nuances of the word and the sentence. Everybody has a vote. Everybody has a say. So when we run for re-elections for the board, it's going to be representative of the actual profession. So 43% is outpatient, 20% is home health. That's the amount of positions on a 15-member board. 43% is outpatient, so 6. Academia is 1%, they get 1 seat. Right now, the APTA board's 7 academia out of 15. I mean, we're not doing that. We're doing it a different way.
For some further last clarification too, like I was involved in or tried to get involved as I started my own business in 2010 in New York City, and I was just running around to people's homes at the time. Like I want to grow this, I want to set up and establish myself, and I could see that that's a little more important to not having a boss, not being beholden to insurance companies. So there was the private practice section of the APTA. I'm sure you have a lot more to say probably about that specifically, since that's kind of your area. But at the time, I know I did not see the light there. I did not see the answers. I did not see what I was looking for. I did not see much talk about cash-based at the time. I don't know how much has changed in, again, 15 years now. I know I'd heard previously that there's a guy who runs a mastermind, and I won't even give the information. But yeah, if anyone from APTA is listening, I think a lot of folks, and I think this is what happened. And not to get into whether you're a Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, but we won't. You're wearing blue. You're wearing blue. I don't know if that's a giveaway. No, but we won't make a. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. But again, but the point is, I think this is what happened in the elections. A lot of people felt, in looking back at the autopsy of it all, a lot of people felt unheard, unseen, and so they either avoided voting or they moved on or voted for someone they normally wouldn't vote for per se. I think that we see that in a lot of physical therapy, right? If somebody's a staff clinician, they see no benefit in the APTA for the most part. Somebody runs their own practice, they might just say, hey, I'm going to do this on my own. I'm going to trust these mastermind people. Mastermind people charge $1,500 a month, and they're giving them money to give them marketing tools and all these kind of step-by-step things. So other things have sprung up as solutions to fill in these gaps. So I kind of went through some versions of that. So again, it was really interesting to chat with you here today. And I know I got at least 1% better today. I'll give a quick shout out to my sponsor again, drinkelement.com/fitcare. Guys, go there, get your free sample. And we'll throw it back to you for the closing words of where folks can go find you. Is it upta.org?
No, it's unitedpta.org. Check us out. Check out our website. Become a member. If you got any questions, you can email me directly or find me on LinkedIn and DM me. That's fine. I've had multiple people reach out to me. I will respond, and I'll engage with you, and we'll talk and chat it through. And I look forward to helping the profession as best I can. I'm not trying to be adversarial by any means. It may come across like that. I'm just trying to fill that gap where so many people feel unrepresented, and that's what I'm trying to do. So I think there's a lot of us out there that are in the same boat, and if we can all band together, hence the name United, put partisan politics aside, focus on our profession, let's make it the best it can be, and let's leave a great profession for the people coming up behind us. So that's my closing statement. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. And yeah, everyone get 1% better today.